Good morning and happy Christmas. The Christmas message is often distorted. The modern Christmas, as invented by Queen Victoria, Charles Dickens, and the people in the 19th century, is a very secular and very specific feast, which focuses on jollity and charity. And the central image in the uh, in the 1853 book, Christmas Carol. It is 1853, isn't it? 1843, sorry. The 1843 book is the image of the two children, ignorance and want. The boy is ignorance, the girl is want. Beware them both. And all of their degree, but most of all, beware this boy, beware ignorance, for on his brow I see that written which is doom, unless the writing be erased. Ignorance is doom. Learning, education is the most important thing. And the whole point about 1843 is that there were two significant events, beside the fact that Dickens went to a soup kitchen, rather like Rishi Sunak, in the area that eventually he claimed as Fagin's haunt. But there was also the second report in the Children's Employment Commission, which was published, and it looked at the effects of the Industrial Revolution on children, on society, and Dickens was horrified by what he saw. He had initially intended to write a pamphlet, but then he wrote A Christmas Carol. And the other influence on Dickens is something which impinged on me. I taught in a school in Suffolk, which was the home of Elwes, John Elwes MP, who was a miser. And in fact, I'm quite convinced he was haunting my classroom. The classroom went deathly cold at about 10:30 in the evening, and if I was there in the evening, I must say I felt very uncomfortable in that room. And John Elwes was so stingy that he stopped living in the house itself and went to live in the stables, which is now a dormitory block, and he lived above the horses so that he could profit from the warmth that the horses provided. Presumably body warmth, but also, I suspect, a mass of flatulence. And John Elwes, a sort of a dreadfully maligned man, because in fact he was quite generous to his friends. He lent somebody enough money to put a bet on a race, which then won, and he was also heavily responsible for promoting Adams, the fireplace man. But he didn't like spending money on himself. And the house, certainly, when I was teaching there, was very much in need of serious repair. So if you've got some cash to spend, there is a wonderful house that needs some upkeep. Otherwise, that is the modern message of Christmas: care for others and jollity, making merry at Christmas. In fact, Christmas Carol is quite extraordinary because there is only one reference to Christ in the entire book, and that is by the wonderful Tiny Tim. And Tiny Tim is carried back by his father, Bob Cratchit. And he says that he hoped the people saw him, who made blind men see and beggars walk. Even there, Dickens can't bring himself to write the name, or indeed a pronoun. But it is, that is the sidelong. The religious element of Christmas has been sidelined by the social element. So Rishi Sunak is quite right to have been seen sporting sausages the other day, but he should have had more sense in what he was saying, and he should have been focused on his job rather than his message. And, with that, have a good Christmas. Enjoy the turkey, enjoy the Christmas pudding, and think actively, proactively about all those people who are in need over Christmas, not only in this country, but across the world, particularly in Russia and Ukraine, where the tyrannous Kremlin has brought two countries at least to rack and ruin.